Hello? There we go. I don't know what that was about. And then this. Okay, that's set where it's supposed to be. Hello! We are here with skill building. We are back with skill building. I am pulling up things. Yes. Drew. Did you draw? Did you draw this week? Did you practice? Let me pull up playlists. Where's my watch later? Because I have it saved somewhere. Where is my watch later? There it is. I've got the jazz. I got the jazz beats. Right there we go. And back to the beginning. There we go. We got it. Cappy, did you draw this week? Go ahead and open up everything. Also, I've been dying to... Okay, what's up? We're here to chat. Today's a chill day. Uh-oh. That's not a nice thing to say, but continue. That is a big square, I am noticing. Let's do that. We'll find a way to figure that out. Okay. That's okay. I have literally nothing to do today, so I will start it now. And proceeded to... Oh no. Is he okay? How did that happen? Okay. That is impressive. Okay. All right. There we go. Timer started. Okay. Well, glad he's all right at least. That would be not so great if he wasn't. But how are you both doing? I've got my stream up. Good to go there. Cool. Also, I added a chat box now so that we can actually read what people are saying when there's a bunch of stuff happening on the side. I'll make it a better design later. I just haven't figured out what exactly to do yet. That's something I'll figure out this week. So I'm gonna kind of go through, like, it's not going to be a drawing stream, this is skill building. So it's going to be, we're building off of what we have learned the previous weeks. So, like for instance today, I'm going to be talking a little bit about what my drawing teacher told me and then jumping into that video we've been following a little bit. Yeah. So, like the video we saw before was talking first about the line practice, so you follow the lines as closely as possible, and then like you do squiggles, you follow the squiggles as close as possible, which as you can see, I am not that great at just yet because I don't hold my pencil correctly. So like if I were to hold it correctly, I would be a lot closer to what it's supposed to be. And then they also did like the visual coordination, right? So you gotta copy that exactly. I do not have great visual coordination. That's something I need to work on this week. But, all that said, something that my professor taught me, I'm gonna make a very quick sketch of, let's say, a tree. So, tree is made like that. Whoa! That is not cool. That, I know you keep posting that, but that has a lot of not great words in it. Anyway, so something that she was talking about when it comes to shading. So like, let's say we want to shade this and the light source is coming from somewhere right here, right? So it's shining. Let me actually make it a bit smaller. So tree, basic tree. The sun is right here. Sun is shining. Sun is beautiful. We love to see the sun. What a happy little guy. The sun is shining here and we want to shade this tree. She was talking about a lot about negative space. So when you are looking at this, you're not just thinking about where the lines are, but also where the lines aren't. So in this case, right, using that negative space to enhance the drawing that you are making. So there's a lot of that white space, right? That's the negative space. I can pull out the drawing that I have and show it a lot better, but she talked a lot about utilizing that negative space, especially when you're shading, so that you get a brighter, more enhanced image. And right, there's going to be a lot more negative space over on this side when it comes to a blank white drawing than there is on this side, because here you've got all that shading that you need to get done. I don't know what that is. But do you see that use of negative space right here? Where it's just completely white, but that negative space helps to define the tree a little bit more. And see, all I'm doing is just little squiggly lines. This is not a complex drawing you saw before. It's literally just 1, 2, and then that. But by using that negative space when shading, again, not my knowledge, her knowledge, enhance your image a whole lot more. And I'm just doing regular hatching. I'm not going into full cross hatching. I could make it even darker over here. Add some regular hatching here. Make it a cross hatch there. Just to give a little bit of that illusion of light. And I can show you. And everything. Apparently all of her students had to go through this when she started. But like, you're supposed to draw this wolf, right? And this is all I got done in 2 hours. But you can see on there, like, you see that snout where it's white over here and it's white over here? That's using that negative space to build out for that shading. So same sort of thing as shown here. You can use that negative space to your advantage and give that illusion of light. I did not do a great job. I'm coming back and I'm seeing that cross-hatching. That is horrid, actually. I should not have done that. That was a terrible example. But TLDR, negative space is very cool and makes your drawing pop and stand out. Let's get rid of all those lines. Okay, good enough. But like, you can make this very dark, make this very dark, but then use bam, 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 bam. Make it a little lighter up here. So now we're coming closer to that light. And then we start utilizing, just using where that space kinda use it what we can where we can, right? And eventually it all just starts to come together. And you guys, again, remember how this started. You can still see the very blocky lines of what looked like a kid's drawing. All we're doing is just adding a few shader lines within that negative space, and the white and the black are sort of melding together to make that illusion light. I think this is about as good as I'll do it. I don't want to spend too much time on this, just because, yeah, I don't want to spend too much time. It's a kid's drawing, so who cares? Me, a little bit. That's why I'm still doing it. But yeah, see? All good? No, so I'm gonna be streaming early on Tuesdays. Next week is the exception because my classes don't actually start for 2 weeks. And next week is when, or my small group classes don't start until 2 weeks from now. Next week is when I'm getting this off, so I'm gonna go straight from this doctor's appointment to my class, and then I'll come back here and stream Spore. But yeah, I've switched Spore and Skillbuilding so that people are still able to enjoy what this channel was made for, which is learning and growing and encouraging one another. But if people still like Spore, they can hop on and it's no big deal. It won't stay that way for forever. It will only stay that way as long as my classes last. So, but yeah. Right now, we're just talking about use of negative space. So showing how that white space can be used to make the illusion of light and how you can actually build off of negative space. Okay, see you, Cappy. Hope all is well. We will see you hopefully on Thursday. But yeah, King, just to kind of show you what I showed earlier is this right here. So you see how for the snout, there's that white space right there? You can use the negative space to sort of pull out and build off of what's there. Here is the reference photo for reference. There's the camera. So see how using that negative space you can kind of pull out? I definitely, looking at it now, made that way too dark. Made my drawing too dark. I need to lighten that later. That's the project I've been assigned, is I need to finish the wolf, because when I go back, the professor's like, okay, when you come back, we're actually going to be working on the things you want to work on. But yeah, you can see through the digital as well how that negative space can help enhance that drawing. So that's mostly what she taught me this week, which was cool. It was really cool. And then I unfortunately was not diligent in practicing every day, so now I've been filling out my whiteboard, figuring out where I can squeeze in time. But remember, the last video we saw was that visual coordination, so trying to copy drawings that you did. I did not do that. I should have, given what project we're working on in my art class. But I didn't for whatever reason. But yeah. So that is the information given to all of you from a woman who has been teaching for 40 years. That woman is not me, that woman is my teacher. But you can see how much it impacts a drawing, right? Because this started just like that. That is what this started as, but you can see how building out from negative space, because that's all a drawing is, right? You're not drawing a drawing, you're building a drawing. Again, a quote from my teacher. So you look at what you're trying to build and it's like, okay, well, shadows are bigger here, so let's build off of that negative space. It kind of flows a little like this. This tree is more top heavy. So that was a terrible line. That's another thing she taught, right? Is the study for 8 and draw for 2. It was annoying, I'm not gonna lie, in class, because she literally covered the drawing I was working on so that I was forced to look at the other drawing, and I'm like, that's super annoying, but also very helpful. Thank you, but why'd you do that? But yeah, study for 8 seconds, draw for 2. And then you pause and reflect. So like, I didn't like that line I did before, so I paused, I reflected, and I made a better line. Like, that was a terrible line. That was also a terrible line. I need to zoom in. There we go. Why am I not doing what I was doing before? There we go. Right, so it's a lot of figuring out what it is that you're trying to do. So like, now I've got a rhythm down. But I still need to occasionally pause and reflect and make sure that what I'm doing is what I want to do. But yeah, see how the light changes? So over here, the light on here is making it go that way. But here, the light is directly on top. So it's going to be very light here, but it's going to be a little bit darker closer to the bottom, not necessarily all the way at the top. So it'll be a little darker here. It'll be a little darker here. Definitely darker here. A little bit lighter here. A little darker here. But those values can drastically change depending on where that light source is. So I'm just building it out because now I'm having a good time. Now it's a vibe. But you see how I'm using that negative space, just pulling out from it rather than trying to draw within it. So like the white itself is a medium, and you pull out from that negative space to build your light. And I'm gonna shade that a little more. The class is unfortunately in person, or I would recommend it to everybody. But that's also why I'm relaying exactly what I'm taught on stream, so that everybody's able to practice what it is that I'm practicing as well. So what I could even do is on the Instagram and Blue Sky, I can put in the YouTube link, and I probably will, whatever this pack is called. But I will send this photo so that people can practice drawing it. I can give the dimensions for it so that if you want to print it out, you can do exactly what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything special. I'm really not. I tore the instruction guide that she gave, or that was in the pack, because she told us not to do what the instructions said. Because the instructions are like, oh yeah, you want to start with the shadows and work your way out. And she's like, no, we're not doing that. And I was like, okay. So I will give the dimensions of this so that you can do what I did, which is she had us place this on here, on the paper, mark out through dots where all the lines changed. So, like on the ear, here, I'll just do it where my finger's going. There's that curve at the top of the ear, and then it goes down, it changes directions here, and then it starts going that way, it changes directions right there to this, changes directions there. Just making all of those little points where the lines change, and then drawing what's called a contour line, which I have on here if they show up. It's basically just connect the dots. I have not done all of them because doing it this way requires the use of a thumb, and so it was very frustrating to not have a thumb. But I will post this so that you guys have this. You can put pretty much, so what you do is you lay the paper on, you kind of back and forth pull like this, and make sure that the point that you put lines up with where the line changes on the actual picture. So you lay it down flat, you lift it up you put a point where the line changes, then you put it down, and you sort of back and forth see if you got it correct. Mine was a little off, but again, I have 75% of my other hand. And yes, I count my wrist as part of that. Otherwise, it would be 80%. And, right. So, mine is absolutely not going to be perfect, but I also just started, so it makes sense. But yeah. That's what I'll do. I will post this. It's called the Prina sketching set. If you guys want to get it, you can also do this with a regular standard pencil, is the thing. That's why it's not really a big deal. Like, she's like, oh, you need to use all the different pencils. And that makes sense. That absolutely does make sense. But if you can't afford that, just know that you can still do it with different pencils. You can still use different like printer paper. And it may not be the exact same result, just because, again, you're not using drawing paper, you're not using everything that they're telling you to do, but it is good drawing practice if you're going for that visual coordination effect, which is what the class is currently teaching. So that's what I'll do. I will make an Instagram post after this is all said and done with the name of the kit, this, if people want to get it. I am absolutely not sponsored. I wish I was. That would be crazy. But I have like 3 people on average who watch these streams, so I don't think they would make a lot of money. Yeah, it's the Prina sketch set, and I will also just link. Right, everybody can learn to draw. That is why I show the videos I do. I use free resources. This is just a unique opportunity, and I want to share what I learned through it with you guys so that you can get the same or similar benefits that I do. The biggest benefit I get from it is honestly just practicing. All the things that I'm telling you right now are because she was looking over my shoulder and she was telling me about these different things. And then it's like, okay, I can apply that. But everything that she's teaching is 25% of what's going on. The other 75%, I like that number today for some reason. The other 75% of what's going on is practice, which I love. It is a 2-hour class, and the entire time just sitting there drawing. So she can come over, she can check what I'm doing. And last week I was a little distracted because she has an adorable little dachshund, and I was loving on that dog. But even then, like, it's all just practicing. And I'm a beginner. This is just what she has been showing me. This is me messing around with hatching, cross hatching, because I will show the other video in a minute. But this is just what she has been teaching. So like, for instance, you see how this is kind of making this area look flat? So like, I might even want to add a little bit here just to give some dimension to what's going on so that it looks a little more round. Same here, might want to add just a little down there. These are not complex, but it's all just, this is what we spend the class doing, is a bunch of da 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 da. Did I like that? No. Da 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 da. Honestly, if you have a drawing app like this, like Krita, you can have the same benefit as using different types of pencils, because you can change the size. I'm lucky in that I have a drawing tablet, but you can change the size. So you want to play around with how it looks to have smaller pen size? Okay, you can do that, or you can do that. You want to play around with what it looks like to have different hardnesses of pencils? Let's do 7. I like 7. Then, okay, this is the darkest pencil you'll have. This is a bit lighter. This is even lighter. And you can mess around with it, right? You can draw like that, and then you can pull here and see how that change happens. So you can use your mouse. You can use whatever you got just to mess around with how it would feel to have these different types of pencils. So like I could even go in here, like let's say I was pretending that I had a bunch of different pencils and I wanted to go in and I wanted to change the shadings on this. So let's say I want to do a middle pencil, right? I can go in and add that in. Look at how much value that changing some of this black to gray adds to the sketch. I didn't do anything fancy. You guys are watching what I'm doing. I could even change this and I could apply full pressure. I'm going to change the size to 3. Applying full pressure at 3. So it may take a little bit more steps. This is the same as using a mouse. I'm using a pen, but like this would be the same as you come in and you use a mouse to sketch out what it would look like if you wanted to do it digital. Or to use the pen, let's say the hardest that a pencil can draw is at this darkness. So you can mess around with your pencil and change the pressure where it's light, and then you press a little harder, it's dark, you press a little harder, it's darker. That is the amazing thing about sharing this with people and doing these skill buildings, is it is not limited based on what people have. I'm coming on here and showing all this because I'm lucky enough to have it, but if I were to instead go out and get another camera, which would be just as much money as getting a drawing tablet, to be honest, or if I were to set up a phone system and do a lot of rigging that way, I could show the same thing with a number 2 pencil. And you guys would be able to get benefit out of it as well, because art is not limited. It's not limited to the tools that people have. You can mess around with it and kind of do whatever you want. So, to recap what the teacher taught, because it's getting to be 35 minutes, negative space is really cool. You can mess around with negative space, you can pull in and out from negative space, and just use it to your advantage when you go in and make these sorts of drawings. So make sure to utilize that negative space when you are sketching, when you are learning to sketch, and it will just bring so much life to your drawings. Like that. I'm actually gonna make this like that. There we go. That is what she taught. Love your negative space. And this applies to all mediums, it's not just drawing. Okay, let's come over to here, and which one were you watching? The only art tutorial you will ever need. Do I have this saved here? No. Why not? Saved playlist. Where is the drawing one? Drawing references. There we go. So let's check out what he has for
to help you try to use negative shapes as your anchor. Next, we have reflections from construction. Exercise 11 is extrusion. You can think of this as the ribbon exercise, but with shapes. Draw one shape, then match it somewhere else and connect lines to it. This is a basic way to create depth. Here, I'm showing you how to take a symbol facing you and then distort it and then extrude it. This technique is basically how anybody draws block letters. But this actually brings us to a bonus exercise that I didn't think about before, but it's actually quite important to know, and that is projection. Knowing how to project will make extrusion and all future exercises much easier. This exercise I learned from ArtWad teaches you how to turn a flat object in perspective, and it's by making out a grid on the flat object. and mapping the shapes according to where they are on the grid. If part of the curve here goes over the midpoint, then you know it.
Also, just want to point out, if you can see the tools that this guy's using, they're also very
Must do so on the distorted
basic.
plane
It's
as
pen,
well. To test
pencil,
myself,
paper.
I'm drawing an object without the grid to see if I can distort it just by eye. At 12, we've got the one everybody loves to hate, and that is Krenz-Couchard's cube grid. Now, this is one that I was exposed to by modern day James, and it can be quite difficult in the beginning, so go easy on yourself. But what you're doing is basically you draw a line of squares gradually turning from a bird's eye view, and then you mark out your horizon line, and then you draw what the boxes would look like when the orientations combine. So this first row of boxes cuts across the eye level, meaning we don't see any top or bottom plane, but we start seeing the side planes as the box turns. Now, as the rows go down, we see more and more of the top plane, and the arrows I'm drawing here are to point out which boxes are just rotated versions of each other. Now, this exercise will hurt your brain if...
Do you guys see how he's doing that, by the way? For the boxes, when he's mapping them out, he has a line that he drew from the center point to use as a guideline for the next cubes that he's doing. So let's come back here. Let's do a new layer. Cut this out. So that is really small. Box. I'm not gonna do all those. Not yet. When he did them, you could see he did that first one. Oh, this is awful. But then when he did this one, 1, 2, bam, bam, 1, 2. As you guys can tell, I am no professional. He drew out the lines so that when he goes to rotate it, he can trace the line so that it is still within that same perspective. That is an awful box. I'm so sorry. Let me try that again. Line number 1. Line number 1. Line number 2. Line number 3. Line, 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 line. That is still a wonky box, but you get what I mean. He drew this out, and then if you do the same thing, where it's this, this, this. And it's much further away this time. He drew the line down. Drew the line down, drew the line down. And see, like, those lines are really close together. It's not a 50-50. But then, when you draw this, this, or I should say this, this, and that. Welcome back! I'm just showing how this guy that we're watching was extruding his boxes. How did he... Bam. Bam. We're drawing boxes. I did not do a great job here at trying to show what I was trying to show. There we go. Oh, that was perfect. That was exactly what I meant to show. Amazing. So the guy that we're watching is, he drew all the boxes, and then when he did them at front face, he extruded all the lines so that, as you can see in what he draws,
so
he
trust
follows
the process,
the lines
do a lot of iterations of this, and slowly you'll start to
as
understand
he
it.
brings it down.
The most important thing is understanding perspective as a system,
See that?
not just worrying about the box. Think about this anytime you're...
Oh, that's what I did wrong. Huh. Oh, wait, shoot. Did not mean to show that. Whoops. Wrong program. There we go. Okay, so what I did wrong was I should have brought out here and then brought over here. Like that. There we go. But when he's doing the first few, he uses that as his reference point. That looks a lot better. Anyway.
You're looking at an object like this, consider how it moves around in space, and you'll quickly come to understand the cube grid much more intuitively. Exercise 13 is cylinders. Draw a bunch of cylinders in different orientations and always mark out the axes and contours so you know which direction they are facing. If you're not comfortable drawing ellipses, always go back to creating them properly out of the box. The way you do that is to start with a square and find the center points of the square. These are the points your perfect circle has to touch. Then we use projection to distort the circle in perspective and extrude it. Connect those lines to get your cylinder. If you're comfortable with them, start combining them in space to create a sense of depth with your primitive.
There is a great exercise. So what he's doing here, you can kind of see it a little bit, is he is overlapping the shapes. So he's doing like this, that's brought out, and then bring it around, but then he'll overlap it, extrude, extrude, and wrap around, so that they're kind of overlapping each other. There is an artist, and I am going to pull them up here. Lemon Shark Drawing, who, I want to see if it will pull up the one that I'm thinking of. There! Like that. That is exactly what this exercise is. And see, there's someone else who did the same thing, where it's these lemon slices. This is the one I was thinking of, though, where they just sort of chop up the lemon and they overlap those shapes. That is exactly what this artist is doing. Hey Luna, I do not appreciate being called that, but we are so glad to see you. How you doing? Where are we? We are over here.
Now you can see how the various exercises are now starting to combine.
How you doing?
The flat planes, the extruding, the ribbons all connect. And we continue on to exercise 14. This exercise from Zeph Draws will get you used to creating dynamic boxes in space. Create a frame and then randomly draw a plus sign somewhere near the frame. The horizontal line represents your horizon line, and the vertical line represents what's left or right of you. The two combine to represent your center of vision. Then start drawing boxes and have all the planes converge to the dot in the middle of these two lines. Now you're drawing these in 1-point perspective, so all the lines not going away from you or towards the dot will be parallel with either the horizontal or vertical axes. Try your best to make yours either the horizontal. Start drawing boxes and have.
Shoot, I'm so sorry. I need to turn this down. I need to turn that down. That was really good.
All the planes converge to the dot in the middle of these two lines. Now you're drawing these in 1-point perspective, so all the lines not going away from you or towards the dot will be parallel with either the horizontal. Going away from you or towards the dot will be parallel with either the horizontal or vertical axes. Try your.
Oh! Oh! Okay. So let's try that out really quick. let's say that I'm drawing a box here. So it is parallel here. It is going towards the dot. So that means this one is going to be parallel but bigger. This is going towards the dot. That's going towards the dot. Which means that this is parallel to the vertical. This is parallel to the vertical. This is parallel to the... Yo! That makes so much sense! So let's say we draw a box here. Then that means this is going, pointing toward. And now the next lines that happen need to be parallel, horizontal, and vertical. And that's perspective. That's all it is. That is all perspective is. And then you can cut it. Parallel, parallel. Guys, it's just that easy. That's all it is. Cherry, hi. Hello, good to see you. How are you? Happy to have you here. We are learning how to draw. I am learning out alongside everybody else, so we are all learning together. I'm doing well. Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, let's try something different. Let's try... You're an artist. Oh, that's awesome! Well, then maybe you can teach us a couple things. Right now, we are learning all about perspective and how perspective works. Horizontal, vertical. Yo! Look at that! That's perspective! Oh, that's so cool! And look, now it kind of looks like a road, so you can draw a road here. Maybe this has a little door on it, but the door is going to be, if I can draw, door is going to be parallel like that. And door here. Parallel, parallel, parallel. Whoa! Hey, if you want to, you absolutely can. I am not paying anybody at the moment, but I mean, if you would like to, that is totally fine. As you can see, I'm currently trying to teach myself how to draw so that I can do things for the channel and hopefully beyond it. But this is so sick. Look, this is like something floating in the air. Because you can see it's not at the same level as these. So if I were to bring this down. Pointed towards the dot. And then brought across. That's all perspective is. Cherry, I'm telling you, I am good. I appreciate the offer, but I am not taking anything right now. If you are just looking for something fun to do, I will not stop anybody from doing art, but I am not going to be commissioning anybody at this point in time, as unfortunately I do not have the funds to do so. And when I do have the funds to do so, then hopefully I will be able to do some commissioning. But right now, I am a very small streamer that is just trying to spread some joy wherever I can. And the way I'm doing that right now is just here on Twitch, learning how to draw alongside everyone else. But yeah, that Okay, I do think that broke my brain, because I always knew about horizon lines, right? I've always known about horizon lines. Like, that's the thing. That is the thing you do. And then when you're, like, you draw a dot, and you're trying to always get closer to the dot. So you draw closer to the dot, but you didn't really have anything there. Never thought about vertical axis. Like, look at that. That is all perspective is. That is so cool. It is just a plus sign. And then you can draw anything in perspective. Like, that's going toward the dot. That's going toward the dot. That's going toward the dot. Match it up horizontal. Match it up vertical. And you got perspective. Hi, Cherry. I am not commissioning anybody right now. I do appreciate the offer, but I'm not doing commissions. I'm not taking commissions. I am not looking out for commissions. So, I do appreciate it, but you are free to do whatever you would like to do. I will not stop you. But right now, this is the focus of the stream. The focus is that we are all learning together. So, if you have tips for how to improve in art, then please share them so that we can all learn from them. Right now, we are learning perspective. So that is what we're doing. I'm going to stop engaging in this conversation now. I do appreciate what you are offering. But I'm not looking for any sort of commissions. I'm not looking for any sort of collaboration work or anything of that sort. Right now, this is just what we're focused on. King, you can do whatever you want. We can partner up all day long. I know who you are. You're a great dude. You are not new to how this works. If you want to share stuff, you can absolutely share stuff. Oh, also, for you, King, because you've been here for a bit, and Troden, I don't know if you're still here, but this is important for you too. I have started working on a Discord. I have started working on one. I have channels laid out. The next step that I'm doing is bot work, which will take me a couple weeks. And I'm hoping that by the end of those couple weeks, that's when we will have enough people in chat and doing things that we are able to open it up to people, and then it will be a place for socializing. But the Discord server is in the works. It is in the works. We are working on it. I'm working on it. I don't know who we are. The we is me. And then once it is launched, it will be a collaborative effort. But right now, it is in the works. We have a server on the way. I was telling Troden about it, but it already has a single emote. And I will... Do I have it? Do I have it saved on my computer? I do. Amazing. Oh, this is amazing. This is the emote. This is the emote available on the server. Anyway, I'm getting so off topic. Oh, then Cherry, yeah, absolutely. Please, that would be so cool. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. That is not a problem at all. Sorry, thank you, King, for clarifying. That was extremely helpful, and I apologize for my misunderstanding. I should have clarified, I should have asked, and that was not right. So, thank you, King. That is why your name is King. Yeah, that would be super cool. I'm gonna be talking every day. As you should, dude. As you should. Alright, let me jump back to the... Stop opening Discord! Stop it! There we go. It is a wonderful picture. This was the first thing that I added to the Discord. Like, truly, I made the server just so that this could be added to it. Look at it, the eyes are even bloodshot. Oh shoot, I forgot to make a new layer. Dang it! Oh well, it's fine. No, don't save. Okay. Back to the video. We are learning perspective.
Make your scenes dynamic. Push the boxes really close to you or really far away. Exercise number 15 is rotation. Get comfortable rotating your primitive forms. Of course, first start with the technique. To rotate a box, all you have to do is move its vanishing point along the horizon line. As long as all the vanishing points converge on the horizon line, it will feel like it's rotating. If it doesn't converge to the horizon line, it will look tilted. Do the same thing with cylinders, and when you're comfortable, try to rotate these intuitively without the need for grids. Obviously, this will take time to get used to, but the more you do it without the grid, the more you will learn how to visualize them for yourself. And that brings us to level 4. We've learned how to...
That's really cool. Okay, so the exercises for this week, the form construction, are that extrusion, which is jumping back over here, is taking any sort of shape and just extruding it like that. It is, what's the next one? The projection, right. So, thank you. That was totally random too. The next one is that reflection. So it's taking a box with a random squiggle on it and then changing how that box looks. Doing the grid. So that point, bam, bam, bam. That was not good. Bam. Then seeing how that applies on the paper here. There we go. Then we have that. Then we have that. And then just kind of marking it out. So like this is a little bit close. It is kind of at the top here, like that. And then it circles down toward the center. Kind of disappears. And then in these last two is where the little foot comes out like this. And then it comes up like that. Circles around like that. So doing that, that is not a good projection. Oh no. Oh, I could have done that so much better. But doing that projection. The cube grid, which I can also link into the Instagram and all of that. The box compositions, which was the perspective point of views. And then the rotations, which is perspective without the grids. Which, that was another good point he gave. Why did I do that? I can do that. There we go. About everything disappearing at the horizon line. That was also something I didn't really consider. So, like, when you're doing one box, all the vanishing points need to go toward the horizon line. Terrible box, but you get what I mean. But same thing with cylinders. Like, it should go towards the horizon line. Crazy point. I'm gonna start home, Phoenix. I am going to be ending in about 7 to 8 minutes. So have a safe drive home. Glad that you could be part of the stream. I will still continue streaming, obviously, but since I know you will be driving and I do not condone texting while driving, yeah. Safe drive home. Be safe. And yeah. I mean, just don't text while driving. So in case I can't say bye to you, drive safe. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, that's a crazy good point. Wow. Look at that. Okay. Good points to have. This is a great video. This guy's put a lot of work into all of these. So what I will spend the last few minutes doing. Also, let me check. Oh, I don't have my other phone on me. I replaced my phone, and instead of getting rid of the old one, I turned it into a social media phone. And yeah, now I just have it. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam, bam. Bam. I'm gonna be practicing that the visual coordination he was talking about before, which is that shape matching. So that was this, circle around. Nope. This, circle around. Nope. That was pretty close. But this is much smaller than that. And this is a little further ahead than that. This, nope. This is hard. Oh my goodness. Not deep enough. Too deep. I wonder what the best way to practice visual coordination would be if you can't really match up objects. I guess the first would be that line confidence. So you'd be going over your own shape. Because as you can see, that's something that I'm struggling with, is that line confidence, which we looked at a couple weeks ago through this same video. The controlled lines, point coordination, the coin flips, which I thought was interesting to have as a line coordination, and then targets, and then print. So literally just writing A, B, C, D, and then so on. That's been helping me with holding my pencil, actually. All of these, so that line confidence, all the line confidence exercises have been really helping with how I hold my pencil. Like, these are not great lines, as line coordination is not my strong suit just yet. That's why we do these exercises, right? But I used to hold my pencil like this. I'm not even kidding. This is how I would hold my pencil, would be with all 4 fingers on the page. Now, I've gotten better. I now use 2 instead of all 4. So 2 of them are holding it, while the other 2 are supporting it. And I'm working my way up to having the chopstick pencil hold that so many other people have, because that gives the most freedom, but I don't have those muscles built to have that freedom. This muscle specifically is very tight for me, so it's something that I will need practice with. But once I get it, right, like you can see how flowy these lines are. If I were to do that same thing here, you see all these hard curves there. It is absolutely not the same as if I did it here. Look at that. That is a beautiful line, and there are almost no hard edges in the curves. So again, do you see this hard curve here? There's a hard curve up there. So I'm working on it, and these line coordination exercises are helping me train my hand to do that. Man, I gotta start practicing this digitally. This is terrible, actually. But little by little, these exercises are building up that strength. Bean. Actually, something I want to... Nope. I caught myself. I caught myself that time. Almost doing it. I want to see if there's a way to draw this guy, because he looks like you could draw him sort of facing this way. You just extend out. No, that was not it. There we go. It almost looks like an owl. Like a little bird. Cherry, did you end up doing that sketch? How'd it come out? Oh, and that is our timer. I'll wait to see if there is any response from Cherry. But yeah, thank you guys. I hope that you learned something today. I definitely learned something by doing this each time, so hopefully you guys are learning something as well. The practices for this week are here, so it's those form constructions. Yeah, hopefully we will start to see improvement in everybody. That is the goal. And yeah, thank you guys so much. It is always a joy being able to be on here with you guys, and I will see you tomorrow for Subnautica.